Yo YouTube, this is my next update video for you. I'm obviously on the same road as I was before when I did my last video. This is a video about something else that happened about the same time as my operation. On the Wednesday, which was my last day of working, I had, it might be the Tuesday, we had confirmation that the sale of our home, our family home, had been agreed. So the exchange of contracts was on the Tuesday or Wednesday, and the date of completion was going to be Thursday the 2nd of May, the following week. So on the Thursday, before my operation, I made a visit to the house and picked up some of the furniture and boxes that my daughter has left because she's at university, and put those in storage at my parents' house. So that was quite a busy day. By this point in time, the rest of us have all moved out. If you had been keeping up to track with my videos, then you may remember that at the end of January we had a sale that fell through, and so 3 months later we finally had this good news. And this was at the end of probably about 3 years of trying to sell this house. It's been a real nightmare trying to get rid of it, and over that time our families kind of dispersed gradually. So first of all, we as a couple separated in 2020, but we stayed living in the same house. And then my daughter went to university in 21, I think it was, September 21. And then I met someone, and I sort of spent more time not in the house. Eventually I pretty much moved out May of last year. My son has managed to get together enough money to buy his first house, and that was overlapped with this sale, so we got all his stuff out into storage, and then about 3 weeks later his house completed. And then my wife has found a house for her and my youngest daughter locally, so they moved out as well. So we had this basically empty house pretty much from January onwards. Well, probably from November onwards, pretty much empty. The only person living there at the time was my son. So that was a drain on all of us financially and worry. But come Thursday, the 2nd of May, it happened. The house sale completed, and we finally got rid of it. That has meant a massive financial burden lifted off my shoulders. It's not a life-changing event, but it has definitely made things a hell of a lot easier than they have been for the last 2 or 3 years. For both me and my wife. So I managed off the back of that to pay off my debts, both personal and business debts. I've put some money aside to cover our next property, which I'll talk about in a moment. I've got enough money, if I had to, I could put a decent amount of money down on a replacement van. It wouldn't be a brand new van, it would have to be a second-hand van. But if the worst came to the worst, I can now replace my van. Whereas up until that point, if my van broke down, I was really in trouble. I now do have some choices about the work level that I do. My previous target of 250 after fuel per day was kind of the least I could get away with and still survive, and that was tough to achieve that, and actually probably not really achievable on CX. Sometimes I did it, sometimes I didn't. But come January, February, March, obviously that was nowhere near going to happen. So now I don't need to earn quite as much as that. I've done a quick calculation, and I think I'm guessing, I haven't done the full ins and outs, but if I can earn £200 after fuel now, I think I should be okay financially. I'm not doing that yet, obviously, but that's a bit easier to achieve than it had been. So yeah, big breath of relief when that house sale happened, and I've been sort of spending a bit of time moving money here and there and everywhere and paying people off. So I am sort of back at work, but not really fully. I'll say a bit about the work, although no, in front I'm going to talk about the house. Yeah. So again, if you've followed me closely, you'll know, as I've just told you, that I moved house about a year ago, and I delayed telling CX and HMRC that for as long as I could, because I didn't want to have problems with my I've never moved company addresses before. So in the end, the move was fine, except for one aspect, which was the VAT, and that has become quite a bit of a saga, which I'll tell about now, and then I'll talk about the house situation. So I moved all my addresses to my partner's house, who I've lived with now for a year, and now formally that's my new address, and everything went through fine except for the VAT, as I said. And what happened with that was, because I used to be a sole trader when I first started delivering for a living, just prior to being a same day courier, I did register for VAT when I was a sole trader, and when I became a limited company later on, I won't go into the whole wheres and whys. Basically, HMRC didn't change, they wouldn't change the VAT registration from me as a person. I've kept my number, it has been assigned to my business, and the only reason I mention that is because I have a personal government portal, which is what I use for my self-assessments, and I have a business government portal, which is separate from my limited company, which is for my corporation tax. And I was assuming the VAT would be transferred across from my personal portal to my business portal, but that never happened. My VAT number was assigned to my business, that's all fine, it's all legit. I pay my VAT fine, I collect VAT fine. But the only reason I mention that is that when I transferred my addresses, I didn't think to go into my personal account to change my trading address. I went into my business account to change my home address for my business, but apparently trading address and business address are different things. So what that meant was that when I then went through the trusted system, they pick up the address for VAT from the online account, and so I had to then change the address of my trading account through my personal government portal, which is fine. Once I knew what to do, I did it, and that was quite easy to do. I did that within about a week. I had a letter from HMRC confirming the change had happened. But online, the HMRC says pending. I don't know why it says pending. There's no way of me contacting HMRC to find out. They don't deal with it. They don't answer any calls. Oh, you can't call anyone nowadays to talk to a real person. It's a whole other thing. So I tried to arrange this change through the trusted system, through CX, and I just got nowhere with it. Absolutely nowhere. I kept being promised. I sent in screenshots of the address being changed on the government portal. Sent in a copy of the photo of the letter that I'd got. I changed it on the system, but their system doesn't change anything until they look at the online system for HMRC. And HMRC says the right address, but just says pending. So for some reason, I don't know why, Trusted can't pick up the VAT, which means that I haven't been able to apply VATs for the last 4 weeks to any one of my invoices through the CX app. And I spoke to CX and they said as soon as you create an invoice, you can't amend it. So I've had to go through and try to chase up people by putting in a separate item on the invoice before I create it, say this is for VAT. And I'm hoping I get paid that VAT, because I have to pay it out no matter what. Anyway, eventually, after me saying 2 or 3 times in my messages, please just call me, this is to CX, when I kept getting messages by email saying, can you send a screenshot of this, can you explain this? I explained it all over and over again, and it's too hard to explain in text. Talking to a real person is the way to do it. Eventually, yesterday, I did get a phone call from a very good person who listened to me and said they would go back to the technical team and do what I wanted to do, which was to just manually put in my VAT. It's what I wanted to do on Trusted. And when it's done manually, I can then put it through my invoicing on CX. I won't go through the ins and outs about why they can and can't do it. There's a whole story and saga about what I've experienced, which I won't go into. It's just plenty enough. Believe me, I did all that I could to get this change done in the correct way, and because the IT doesn't cope with it, I had to rely on a person. Because they don't want to talk to you, it took ages. And I'm hoping, I've had some emails today from Trusted, I'm hoping that today it's been sorted out, but I haven't been home yet, so I haven't been able to check. And I'm not singling out Trusted as being particularly bad. To be fair, all customer services nowadays, they go down this route of online FAQs, chatbot assistance, and it's really hard to get hold of a person. And most queries that I have that I can't deal with myself, I need to talk to the person about. I never thought I would say this, but I yearn for the days when I would be on the phone for half an hour. I listen to classical music as I waited for someone to pick up the phone and talk to a real person. I would love to have that now. At the time it was so frustrating because you had to wait so long. But to pick up the phone, call a number and speak to a real person, having to wait, well, I don't actually at all now, no matter how long I have to wait for, I would do that now. And lots of companies have moved away from that. It's so frustrating. It's not just Trusted, but it's just it is a sign of the times, and it's just very poor customer service. Yeah, and also when you get hold of someone, most of the time, the person that's sitting with you, even when they're texting, they deal with the easy stuff, but yet anything slightly complicated, they just ask for screenshots, or they ask for. They make assumptions, and it's just talking to a person is much easier to explain something. It's like if I had to type this out, this podcast, and write it as an article, it would take me forever, and you wouldn't really understand it. But by you listening to this as a video or a podcast, I get through a lot more information, a lot easier, a lot quicker. So talking is good. Never thought I'd say that. Right, last point in this little video is why are we moving? So we have to go through this all again, because when I moved in with my partner's house, she bought a little 2-bedroom house for herself, which was big enough for her, but since I've moved into the scene and then we've had 2 dogs, it's just not big enough. We need more space downstairs. I need a little office really. It's sort of, at the moment I have the spare room, but if someone comes to visit, we've got no room for visitors. So we really do need, for the longer term, to have a slightly bigger downstairs and upstairs. So we do need to move to a slightly bigger house, which is why I need to use some of the money that I got for the next property. which I don't have a lot of, but I've got enough for us to buy something. We'd be combining our resources. I've got enough for us to buy something a little bit bigger. So that's the next step: is selling the house that partner's got and buying one together. Yeah, and so that's the financial side of things. Obviously, I do have maintenance to pay for my youngest daughter, so there's not. I do have a lot of outgoing still, but it's a lot easier than it has been. So now I've got rid of the debts and I've got a bit of money saved up. So that was my second update video. Work-wise, I'll talk about that in my next one, I think. Right, thank you friends, thank you for listening. Fare thee well.